Hello to you, my fellow Dark Ones. How are you guys doing today? How's life? In between the episodes, I have been busy. I have made ourselves a sieving factory, and yeah, it turned out to be a bit longer than I was expecting, but it's fine. I was actually done with this area and I wanted to tear it apart, so we're good. So first off, it does look very complicated, but let me break it down for you. I do have a cobblestone generator. I made it like 3 episodes ago. There are 2 block breakers from open blocks set on a timer for 1 second. Lava, water, and you get cobblestone. There are hoppers underneath, so everything goes into a drawer. And yeah, it does waste a bit. Then if you guys remember, 2 episodes ago, we did manage to find something very special. A blueprint for stone, obsidian, and instant aggregate. What do? Well, it's a good thing that these guys are messy, because I have a cobblestone. Well, they take 16 cobblestone, they give you 8 gravel, 8 sand. It takes around about 16 seconds if I'm not wrong. And honestly, you didn't really have to do this, you could have just used a shredder. But this one looks cool. So using conveyor belts, I'm sorting everything out as well. Gravel, sand, and gravel. And yes, we're getting more sand because sand is more important. Obviously, the first gravel goes inside the sieve, we sieve it. The sand also goes inside the sieve, we sieve it, we get the results. The second gravel goes inside the hammer, so you know, we get sand, then goes into another hammer, we get the dust. Since we have the bridge and I was lazy to move it, we do have an arc and we have a sieve for dust over here. Items get sorted again, they go inside the compressor, we compact them, then they go inside the furnace, things that have to be smelted, we smelt them, and finally go inside this barrel. And yes, I know what you're thinking, that's not a great result. And I do agree, but the thing is, this has been running maybe for an hour or so, and eventually I will have enough experience so that we can fortune the sieves. Therefore the yield is going to be way better, trust me. So before I actually get into how the conveyor system works, let me try to explain a few things. So there is no Certus quartz ore in this mod pack, and for some reason it was not even in the original ore generation setup, and it does seem that the only way that at this very moment we can get it is through sieving. This is why sand is more important, because I do need a lot of Certus quartz for applied energistics. Also, you might notice that lead, aluminium and copper ingots that we are getting are from ex nihilo, but they have the same ore dictionary, so we can use it as normal copper, even aluminium and lead. The problem is that we're also getting nickel ingots, and unfortunately that doesn't really have a use. I'm literally trying to avoid them. We don't have trash cans, so there's lava. Also, let me try to get a few gizmos so that I can explain to you how the conveyor system works, because it's amazing. So the main mod of this mod pack has 2 methods of item transportation as far as I'm understanding everything. However, in the mod pack, we have a few other methods as well. For example, we have Project Red transportation, and we also have applied energistics. The mod also has pneumatic tubes, but they work with compressed air, and it's a bit complicated because the range is very limited if you just provide it with compressed air. We will get into that later on. The best method that we have so far is just conveyor belts. So the red one extracts items from a chest or an inventory or whatever, and the green one inserts into an inventory. So if I put, I don't know, something here, it goes to the other chest, right? They also have filtering systems, so they're kind of great. And they also void the excess items, which is really good because we are producing more gravel and sand, and I'm actually voiding them here. So the funny part is that when you right click with the conveyor belt, you get a ghost image. And then if you jump 1 block up, look, this is cool. Obviously, you can also bring it down. That's how I actually went over the arch. Another thing that I'm using in very large quantities is this guy, the conveyor sorter. So it does have a very fancy GUI, color-coded. Obviously, it does have a filter, and you can say, hey, just allow concrete on your west side, which is this one. That's how I'm sorting the sand and gravel over here. However, you might notice that it only has filters for 4 items, so it gets a bit confusing whenever you have more than 4 items that you want to process. For example, over here we are processing gold, we are processing copper, iron and lead. But I'm also doing aluminium. There is no filter for aluminium, so I put it on a wildcard route if no other route is valid. So aluminium has nowhere to go, there is no filter for it, so it just goes inside the compactor. Over here, I do have an extra sorter just for flint because, well, I couldn't fit it in here. And at that time, I didn't really know about the wildcard. As for power, so far we're doing fine. It seems our turbine is just handling everything. These engines are off. So that's the entire process. That's it. Very easy. I just wanted to make it fancy. Otherwise, at first I was thinking that, oh, it's getting too long, maybe we should just go back. So I'm trying my best in order to make a structure for this, and I just had an idea. Let me scaffold up. We should definitely have a catwalk, right? So that we can see the conveyor belts, see what's happening, because it will look nice. Then I think on that side, we're going to try and make a gun factory. Well, it's not a factory, it's just going to be a workshop. The problem with that idea is that I'm actually out of concrete. So I have been checking, in order to make concrete, we just need water, we need sand, we need gravel, and we need cement, which I can eat. That's an extra heart, I guess. But yeah, long story short, we need cement, and apparently, that slag is useful. We have made tons of steel, and therefore we have tons of slag. Give me all. That's 2,000. Wow. Yeah, it does give you cement. I think the recipe was exactly inside a chemical reactor. For water, yeah, we even have our barrel. As for gravel and sand, we're producing excess amounts over here, so we might as well use them. Not the fastest thing in the world, but I'm okay with that. How do we extract it? Yeah, I'm guessing conveyors will do. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a while later. I have been working on the base. However, I thought maybe we need to have a change of plans. Our storage system is with Project Red transportation, right? This guy over here, you request items, then you have to craft them yourself. It takes ages for me to do anything, so I thought maybe we should have applied the logistics. A bit. So as far as I have checked, no, we cannot have storage components because it does require technetium, which is something we get from reactors, but the terminal itself seems to be fine. We can also have storage buses. True, very expensive. Everything just requires steel. So here's what we're going to do. I'm making more steel. I have been to the nether, I have gathered some cores, and the reason that I don't have any experience is that ores in this mod pack don't really drop any experience. We are sieving for Certus quartz and iron, however, iron is in short supply, even though we have a decent number of Certus. So I did use like 2 stacks of iron, so it's not that bad. So I think it was last episode when we went to the reactors, I did notice that they have free centrifuges. I picked up some, and I wanted to automate them today, but it's fine. We do garbage automation. What centrifuges allow us to do is that we can do ore tripling with them. And also get a bit of byproducts. Yeah, we can get more iron. So to get us started with applied energistics, obviously we need some charged Certus quartz. Let's see how would you make a charger. It's 2 fluix. So we don't need to keep the one, we can convert all of that into fluix. I don't think you need to drop them into sulfuric acid or anything. It should be water. Yes, it's water. Thank you. I did disassemble our crucible. We need to assemble it again because we do need to have a ton of cast steel. For me, it's a very difficult word to say, but it's not a difficult thing to get. Almost every single one of them has to be welded, so there you go. We have to wait. While those things are being prepared, let's also try and get an energy acceptor, which for some reason is not a quest. Okay, cables. Fine. Here is some quartz fiber, and maybe a bit of fluix cables. So I do have some energy converters, we put them over there. It should power the energy acceptor. Yes, we can have a teeny tiny bit of cables. It's very difficult to place them. Is applied energistics? Oh, I thought maybe it's a fork or something. You never know. But that should be my charger. Perfect. And we are going to have a very fancy automation in forms of hoppers. You know, like this. And what that basically means is that we can have more charged Certus quartz. Let's take... that's too much. We just take 1 stack. That should be plenty of flukes anyways. You're working, right? Ooh, I forgot in this version you have to access it from the bottom, top, somewhere. Bottom will do. It's a bit manual. I thought I can be more useful than just standing here and right-clicking manually. We need tons of items. Another very important component that we are going to need is going to be silicon, right? I have been making them in very small batches in the arc furnace. At least the extraction part, let's see what we can do. So we extract and we somehow insert it into that chest. Yeah, that should work. And by the way, we're burning flint. It gives you 4 silicon nuggets, it's not bad. It's like 3 flint gives you 2 silicon. Then the quest book itself wants us to make a terminal, although the quest book is a bit wrong, because then it wants us to make drives. And you can't make storage components, so screw with the quest book, I guess. We want terminals, we want storage buses. So in this mod pack, there are no inscribers. What you need to do is that you need to use a press. And in order to make the actual circuits, we have to use the soldering station. So I know one of them is lead cables, one of the inputs. Obviously, we need the logic circuit, we need some silicon. Redstone? Yeah, there you go. So you should start working. Very cool. That's our first processor. Oh, and by the way, the electrodes actually break. They don't show you the durability, but I got, again, 6 of them. So, I just made some extra. Also, if you guys remember, on episode 2, we made some pure Certus quartz. It does take a lot of time in real life, so I thought, let's just make it. And let's also try to convert it into circuits. Half of them. Because you do need it for a crafting terminal, right? Yeah, just the one. We can craft it. So I converted almost every single resource to interfaces because we don't have drives. We have to go with storage buses, right? But if I'm not wrong, that should be a ME terminal. Lovely. And that should be a crafting terminal. Perfection at its finest. Now, how do we convert those interfaces into storage buses? Okay, pistons. A lot of pistons. Also, I heard a meteor somewhere. So, 1 stack of pistons, half of that will be sticky pistons, all of them will be storage buses. Channels are not disabled in this mod pack, that's my assumption. So we are also going to need a controller, and that's going to be a bit problematic. Well, it's not a huge problem. We need welded steel plates, we need pure fluids, which we can make, and that's not bad. That's actually not that bad. I can live with that. I also don't really understand why they decided to gate auto-crafting. Also, if you really want to gate auto-crafting, make the crafting unit expensive, not the storage components. I mean, make them expensive, don't gate it. Anywho, I'm not the developer. We play as intended. Since we are going to need pure flux, here's what we're going to do. We are going to try and make a growth acceleration chamber, you know, to grow the crystal seeds a bit faster. Also, I got like 2 or 3 stacks of silicon and these guys broke again. Do you work with one? No. It's okay. We'll fix that later on. We have AE2 stuff, right? We can make the chamber, not just the accelerators. And if I'm not wrong, we need 6 accelerators in order to make the chamber. Thank you for the quest. Is that the chamber? No. We were missing a few things, but there you go. Now making pure garbage is not going to be a problem anymore. That's way faster. You can also do flux. Oh, you could have done it like that. I thought you can do it in the chamber. So we have that, we have that. I need to make a lot of cables. We need the controller. Integrated circuit board. That's not a weird thing, right? It's steel. Yes. Let me get some circuit boards. Oh, we go with the cheap and dirty recipe. We have some power. Why not? I just wanted to mention that even though we're not going to have auto-crafting, it's still perfect because we can do a ton of automations. We can even make molecular assemblers. They do work on their own. If you can make patterns, PVC. Okay. Never mind. Still, it's good. Trust me. When we're using the cheap and dirty recipe for the integrated circuit board, the power just drops rapidly. But at least with more capacitors, with the turbines, with the engines, we can craft them more and we can recharge faster. You see, we already have 6. In that episode, we could only make them in batches of 3. And this is 7. Yeah, we can go to 16. But ladies and gentlemen, tier 3 circuit board. 9 of them. And for the moment, we shall have 2 controllers. I do have to weld more plates. Thank you for the quest. Actually, I have to make more plates, is the thing. Anyways, I just have to get more cables, and then we're good to go. I'll be right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a few gizmos, as usual. We have our terminal, we have 9 controllers. We don't really have a crazy amount of cables, but I can make more, don't you worry. And I have also made 1 dense energy cell. Remember, we will not have access to drives or storage components, so we have to use ME storage buses. Therefore, the chests that we're going to use, also drawers, are going to be incredibly useful, and we have to, I don't know, expand on this one as well. But I just had a thought. So there is a dish crate. Is it bigger than a diamond chest? It's 8 times 13. Yeah, it's 1 row bigger. It's just that it's expensive. I have been centrifuging a few ores. Maybe we get something from that. I mean, if I can make more dish, is the thing. Hello? Why are you mad? You're a spider. Actually, I need the string for cables. Laugh all you want. 2 is more than enough. I have processed rare earth. Whoa. Hello? Jerk. Okay, we have 48. That's it? There's nothing more? No. So that's actually enough in order to make 12 crates. Maybe we go with crates. They do look fancier anyways. Well, we have some more in the system. I think it was 48 more. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Oh, and by the way, we do need to have a place for our applied energistics controller as well as a few machines and the storages, so we have a new basement. I mean, it's the old basement. There's an expansion to it. That's literally where I stand in order to craft items, so this is a decent spot. And this was light oil and mercury, oh my goodness. Okay, I'll try to fix it, one stupid problem at a time. So let's go and prepare the area first. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a while later and we do have a semi-finished basement. Looks fancy, you know. But we do have our controller. It's 8 controllers in total. Power comes in, goes into the converter, the energy acceptor, there is a dense energy cell over there, and powers our controller. Since we do not have access to drives and storage is going to be problematic, we are going to use P2P tunnels. In total, we have 14 dash crates that should give us ample storage. And you might notice that 14 channels is a teeny tiny bit more than what a smart cable can handle. So we're going to play with colors. There's a storage bus on every single crate. I thought that's obvious. But we are going to use different cables so that they don't connect. Then we are going to use some dense cables, you know, so that we can connect all of them. And I just realized I'm one short. Can you convert them? No, it's fine, but we shall have a P2P tunnel over here. We copy the settings on the P2P tunnel on the controller, and we paste it to the output. And voila. Now they're connected, except this one. I need one more dense cable. Oh, hi. I left the door open. I do that a lot. And by the way, that's the final dense cable we needed here. Now, most importantly, we need extra drawers. I have absolutely no idea if we have enough drawers or not, but we're gonna roll with that. And hope for the best. Let's lock it and quantify it, see how it goes. Yes, they're locked and quantified. So we are going to have a storage bus on the storage controller. It's going to be on a way higher priority. Actually, one would have been enough, but we went with 1000. Actually, let's go with like 5000. Because I might do that with something else as well. So the drawer is connected to our system even though we don't have a terminal, and let's try something. Let's break this cable. So the crates are not connected to our system, right? Only the drawer. And then we're going to try and import things from the chest. See if they go into the drawers. They're locked, right? It's locked and things are going in. Very slowly. That's how I'm going to sort my inventory. Empty everything as much as possible from the chests, see what's remaining. And we are going to try and sort vanilla items first. Especially things that we're getting from Sieving, yes. This is gonna take ages, but trust me, for me it's the most fun part. My fellow Dark Ones, it is a few hours later and I just came back from mining. Before I went mining, the diamond chests were already empty, so they're all in these crates, and we are only using 5 of them. Exactly. The drawer itself is still being emptied because I don't have acceleration card inside the import bus. So yeah, it could take ages. And most importantly, we have a crafting terminal. So now if I want to craft garbage, it's going to be way easier. Anyways, there are other few gizmos that I want to try and do with applied energy sticks, and also finish that factory, but I thought maybe this episode we just do stupid things. Because I like doing stupid things, we are going to try and make a few guns. Yeah, for defensive purposes. And unfortunately, since I'm a bit lazy, everything is going to start with trees. Big ones. Obviously. Cause again, I'm lazy. I'll chop down some wood. So, a big jungle wood tree gives us 100 wood. That's not bad. I'm gonna do this a few more times. So burning some wood gives us charcoal, right? However, this is a combination oven or a coke oven, and in return we're also getting wood oil. That part is actually very important. I don't have barrels. What? We're actually a bit poor. For the moment, that should be enough wood oil. We'll let them fill in. So the gist of it is, when you want to make guns, well, it's not all of them, but most of them require something called weapon steel. It's a different kind of steel, it's made with steel, it's made with flux, and you need also coker gas. So coker gas comes from like a bajillion different items. Also, yes. Oh, but it's mediocre. Yes, we will do this as intended. So there is a coker unit, which gives you coker gas, right? It does burn anything which is related to petroleum, and in return, you just get some coker gas. However, there is a recipe that wood oil inside a coker unit also gives you coker gas, and it's not a bad ratio. 3 buckets, it's like 10%. So let us try to get a coker unit. I'm relatively prepared for this. For some reason, we even have the niobium. So I guess there you go. That's our coker unit. And the quest. So obviously the first question is that, oh my goodness, you're big. Yes, the main question is that you don't need to have any power, I assume. So we can just put you here. We shall pump in the wood oil. We shall mark the coker unit, and nothing happened. Does it have to be hot? External heat source, yes. That's my AE room, but who cares? But yeah, that's coker gas. And we have a decent number. That's 48 ingots, I suppose. We can have more. Because you might notice we actually have to make it inside a new machine called a rotary furnace. And this one is actually made inside an anvil. So there you go. What did I do again? You place something and suddenly things change. Oh, there's a cave. Caves are rare. So again, we have a machine which I don't really know how it works. It's big and I do know that it requires steam. You don't need an external heat source, right? I have like 40 different boilers and none of them make steam. I set up a boiler. We are getting the steam, which is perfect. That should be our coker gas. You output. Does it go in? Instructions are a bit unclear. How would you go in? Let's break it and place it again. Maybe the other way. So coker gas, do you go in? Not really. Well, you need steel, you need flux. Do you go in now? Maybe there is another way? Yes, if you look at the side, it will tell you coker gas. That's for solid inputs. Also, it does have a very garbage buffer, so you do have to get rid of the low pressure steam. But we are getting weapon steel, and I think we have to cast it out. So will you give me the ingot? Cool. It's just that we don't really want the ingot. Oh, that's a quest. Yeah, we mainly want gears, which is not a horrifying recipe. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering why I have so much flux on me, I made a boo-boo. Limestone powder plus sand gives you 12. I thought it's 4. Actually, this is something that we can mold later on. Let's just get the ingots. Oh, and you do need to have a ton of fuel. I'll get some coal coke. That's better. We should have a ton. Yeah. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I got some of the resources that I needed and then I decided to bring the coker tower up here, on top of a mountain near our base. Later on we are going to try and make a few automations over here, but for the moment I got what I needed. I have made a decent supply of weapon steel and I have also made some gunmetal. It's pretty cheap and you could have done that in an anvil. I guess that's cheaper, but I did that inside a rotary furnace. Anywho, I'm also in the process of making some military-grade circuit boards. We can have more, don't you worry. Oh, that's a quest. Interesting. And this is what we want to craft. Heavy machine gun turret, Chekhov's gun. Sounds like a Bolshevik. Not sure. Also, I'm not exactly sure. Would it be a good idea to make 2 of them at the same time? I mean, it's cheap. Ish. It's just that we need more gunmetal gears. And that's like 24 ingots. Still pretty cheap, because I don't have that many uses for zinc. I made too many. Oops. Oh, it was 12. Yes. Well, guess what? We're going to have 3 of them then. Also, if I'm not wrong, yeah, we have this lead acid battery. We found them in crashed ships. Although I don't think, yeah, it's pretty cheap. It is done inside an assembling machine. I was making circuits, and that's the one that we want. That's our first ever turret. I'm actually excited. It's just that you have to do it one by one. Battery doesn't stack. How do you look? Whoa. Fancy. We also have more military grade circuits, which is pretty good. Because I want to make something very useless. At this very moment. Eventually it's going to be useful. So I have been googling and it seems that this machine gun requires something called BMG bullets. It's made with lead, large gunmetal casing, which I guess it's this one? Yeah, large caliber. So make me some, please? No? Why no? Oh, it has to be the plate. So lead is not the problem, we need weird stuff. Although one of them we can craft, right? If I can click on it. Yeah. Ballistite. It's funny that you're mixing basically salt and sugar. Also, this is what I was talking about. We are not going to use the salt from Pam's Harvest Craft. We just use niter. But there you go. Also, dude, make me some shells. Awesome. There's also something called an ammo press. I have made it. It's pretty cheap. And apparently that's how you make a bullet. You have to search for... Oh. That's fast. Maybe we shouldn't have made that much. Because not really sure if that's the correct ammo for the turret. It is. Well, it goes in. I also need to do some cabling because the turrets do require power. We do have a cable down there, somewhere. I was semi-correct. Wait a minute, is it a 2x2? Yeah, it seems to be 2x2. So if I place it there, will you have power? No? Ah, okay, you have to connect it to the side. Now we know. We want you to shoot hostile people and you're on. I know it's a bit of a dire wire, but I just want to make sure that it works. So, here is the second turret, a bit more ammo, and we wait for nighttime. And you're also online. Perfect. It's just that it's going to be too dark. I'm not sure if we can see mobs. Is there like a night vision? I could have made it. It's just rubber. Yeah, this is way better. I hear weird things. They shot at something. That one did. Yeah, these are the casings. Yeah, they're not cooperating that much. Maybe we should bring them closer. They killed someone. Shoot. These are nice. I love the casings. Cool, next time that we have a blood moon, we have base defenses. Also, we get some loot. That's not bad. So for our next bit, I'm going to need a ton of titanium. Apparently, as a byproduct of centrifuging iron, you also get some titanium and also aluminium. So why not? And titanium, well, gives you titanium. I have to wait anyways, but yeah, we're getting extra titanium. That's not bad. I have gathered some titanium, I have made some plating, and I forgot why I was here. Niobium, yes. So basically, there is a brand new armor that we can craft. Steel Ranger. It's not that expensive, it does require a ton of dish, but it also requires this iron shod plating armor. Oh, I made too many. Damn. You need 17 plates, and I think I'm going to have extra, unless it's used for something else. That is way in the future. So let's get 18. Thank you. And let's try to get the parts. We start with the boots, because it's cheaper. Yeah, with the pants it suddenly gets crazy. With the chest plate, it does get crazier. Oh my goodness. Please tell me there is a cheat. Oh, there is. I was wondering if there is a cheaty way of making it. Oh, and by the way, I did move our turret to a more permanent location. It does cover the main entrance. And the problem is all the crazy creepers which can spawn at night. Why do we have an empty gas tank? Is it like you can fly? Well, we will know. For the helmet, we also have everything, I think, except the gas mask. We do have the gas mask. So let's switch. I look fancier. I like this one. Oh, actually, I needed my armor. My upgrades are inside. This is the first time I started this mod pack that I'm venturing out during the night. Because I can see. Whoa. That was bad. Anyways, I also remembered that this is 1.7, so it's easier to find Endermen in deserts. Like that one, who ran away. Anyways, a few other things. So we do have some servos installed in our armor. And guess what? There's also an upgraded version using Dash. And yeah, over here my FPS drops rapidly. I think it's like immersive engineering, so if you cross chunk boundaries with multi-blocks, there's going to be FPS drops. I don't really know which machines are crossing chunk boundaries. Maybe this one? Well, it could be a thing. We will fix that. Besides, in any case, I do have to move those machines. So the servo is made out of Dash. We need 8 of these motors. We can have 7. Oh my goodness. Yes, as I was saying, 8 of these motors. I do need my servos back. And here is an upgrade. There you go. So now we are walking faster, we should be able to jump higher, and I think we can do extra damage. And we have haste 3. That's good, right? That's really good. So the final thing that I want to do before wrapping up today's episode is something incredibly stupid. It's something that we don't need it at this very moment, it's expensive, but it looks cool. It's a satellite radar thingy. I just want to put it on the roof. It is a bit expensive because we need a radar dish and it does require a bunch of magigabobs, especially titanium. I have made the magnetron, that was cheap. We do have to make the titanium, we have some extra military grade circuit boards, the rest of them should be fine. And then we need extensive circuit boards. So we need 48. Okay, I'll craft them again. So I think I have most of the parts, let's actually check. So there is a radar dish, can we craft it? No? Oh yeah, circuits. Where did I put them? Oh, it's on me. Yes, there you go. So that should be the satellite dish. At least in this way we're getting rid of unnecessary items in our inventory. The rest of that will be circuits. And we need 48. That's quite a bit. I think with our current configuration we can craft actually 16 of them at each iteration, then I have to wait for the capacitors to fill in. Maybe not. Is there an eclipse? No, it's fine. We wait for everything to recharge. I have to kickstart the other engine too. I swear I made 12. Oh, I put a speed upgrade inside. You know, the one that we got as a quest reward. That does increase the power consumption. So let's take it out. Yeah, I would say this time it's dropping a bit slower. But just a bit. It's fine. In about 20 minutes we should have it. So the cheap recipe is taking too long. And I thought maybe we should go with the expensive recipe. That doesn't consume that much power. And I think I can handle it. For a while at least. If I'm not wrong, we should be able to make 16? 8? Something? I'm also trying my best to make these gold wires, but the arc welder also consumes a ton of power. I did not check. Yeah, 10,000 HE per tick. That's quite a bit. I didn't pay attention to the recipe, is the thing. So in total we have half a stack of that, which is fine. And we're going to use that in order to make some capacitors. You see, the battery on my armor keeps dropping and I thought maybe we should upgrade that one too. It has been on my hotbar for the longest time and you need dense Minecraft grade copper wire. But that's the same thing. What is that? Oh, steel plate. Also, we have 41 integrated circuit boards. We need 7 more. And in the meantime, our plates are ready. So here are 2 power armor battery packs. I think we add one for the helmet. And maybe one for the chest plate. Yeah, now it has more capacity. It's not much. Not even a million more. Oh, there is a better battery. Oh, I can't make it. Okay. Never mind. That is 1 more circuit. We need 5 more. We're out of power, right? Almost. It's fine. I'll use some microchips. We make it in the other machine. Exactly. There you go. I just wanted to mention that this was a lot of resources for something that we are never ever going to need. Well, not never ever. For a very long time. So many cows. But then again, maybe I shouldn't have played on expensive mode. I think now we have everything. Stardar. That's a weird name. And we can craft it. Finally. Nice piece of decoration. You know, it would be funny if it's like a single block machine. No, it's not. Wow. 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 I'm not disappointed at all. We put it on the roof. How big is it? Quite big. Maybe here in the center? Yeah, I can live with that. I can totally live with that. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one. Bye bye.